All right, welcome to the greatest podcast in mankind's history. This is the George Carlin podcast. Thank you for the gentleman that just let me know that my mic was muted the entire time. 9 minutes. I was going in, dude. I was really getting animated. And what I was talking about, that I have to redo this whole thing now. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just as good, I hope. What I was talking about was I recently went to Austin, Texas, and it's unbelievable. A little Kill Tony. I don't have issues with Kill Tony or Tony Hinchcliffe as a person. What I have issues with is lying to the public by omission, at the very least. If they're what hey, thank you. Yeah, get ready for this. This is actually somewhat wild. Where I was at, I just left off, was I went to Austin, and I may be the funniest comic in Austin. Comic is a word that's really thrown around loosely. So I was there, and someone came up to me after the Creek and Cave, and 90% of the stuff I can't provide validity. I can't provide substance to the evidence that was provided to me. But this is essentially what he said, and his background, not to give too much about him away. He's a comic, whatever that word means down there. And his uncle is in the show business. He's a lawyer in the show business. So he's the nephew of this person. He was in the Kill Tony realm. And you signed NDAs, which makes sense to me. It's if you could trip on ice, and you could get sued. So I get that. No, not for people who don't know, non-disclosure agreements. But if you're too close to the sun or Kill Tony, whatever it is, he thinks very highly of himself. And I'm not trying to hate on this guy. I probably would get along with him. What this person in Austin, this source told me, was that there's fake PR firms and advertisement firms that he believes are in India. He doesn't even believe they're in the United States. He thinks that they're in India. So you guys anyone can go and see this. 2 videos ago, I made a fake video, stage video, that Tony Hinchcliffe is having sex with homeless women, which isn't a thing, first of all, in America. Like, people that are really rich don't have sex with homeless women. This is so ridiculous. There is even a video, this guy Lion Meows, and I was subscribed to him prior to him doing this video. I like them. I like this video of me too. In the beginning, he's trying to make heads or tails of like, what is going on with this video? And at the end, he kind of figures it out. He's like, this is just a little crazy, dude. He's not having sex with homeless women. Tony Hinchcliffe is not doing that. So this is the deal. Is it a big deal if Kill Tony has these PR firms or everything? I don't necessarily think that's bad, but lying by omission is bad. And then here's the kicker, because there's an evolutionary psychology study that was conducted in the late 90s on pop music. So this study goes like this, essentially. Why does everyone like pop music? Actually, no one likes pop music, and yet it's played at every mall, at an airport, any venue you go to, you're going to listen to pop music, and in fact, no one likes pop music. There's a lot of cases to be made that people have a disdain, actually. They're angry with modern-day country music, modern-day pop music, and yet we're forced to listen to this. We're hoodwinked into the idea, of course, it's pop music. We'll hear it everywhere we go, and we accepted that fact. Why? Here's the basic experiment they conducted. In the late 90s, early 2000s, they made fake music, non-melodic, fake lyrics, but they had 30 people commenting on it. This is the greatest music ever. This is awesome music. And what happened was an ordinary person would see the comments. They would base their opinion on this fake music, on the comments, and not actually the music. And that evolutionary psychology study showed a lot to modern day advertisement companies and PR firms, the power of if YouTube was smart, they would get rid of comment sections right away, because it's so clearly marketed by these billion-dollar social media companies. They're selling beef jerky, whatever the fuck. They are selling BetterHelp, psychology. And that's what a comic or a pop star, that a pop star is a tool for eyes to be on them. So you're not aware that you're being sold shit. Same with a comic nowadays. Kill Tony, that's all it is. I was at the mothership on Monday night when Kill Tony was going on. I wasn't going to Kill Tony. I saw Bert Kreischer, the other room, Fat Boy, and all these merch tables and shit, dude. It's a business. That's what it is. Comedy used to not be like that, and I always had a problem with authority. I think that's what it is. I come from I was a counterculture kid, punk music, anarchism, skateboarding, whatever it was. Now it's cool, and atheism was part of that. And now it's cool to believe in God, to have a higher power, to be spiritually connected, to believe that there's something bigger than yourself, and to know there's God, to anchor yourself when times are difficult. That's now a counterculture movement. Christ is king. And they're just throwing people left and right off of social media and stuff. It's kind of bizarre. But I'm always ahead of the curve, dude. I'm a counterculture kid. I think I will be counterculture the rest of my life. You would think that more people in the counterculture thing, the scene, I guess, would go to Austin because of Joe Rogan, right? His first special was very counterculture-ish. But that's not what you see, dude. It's very strange when you get down there. You see people that want ambitious fame. That I gotta get famous. It's like the gayest stuff ever. Those are the people that go to Austin. And anyways, that I just briefly mentioned that evolutionary psychology study because I wanted to provide ample evidence, and people can look that stuff up, of why do we listen to pop music, and how have we accepted this, and how are we hoodwinked into believing that it's normal when no one likes it, right? It's pretty fascinating about people. Not me, but my mom, for instance, got the jab. We got to get the vaccine. Whatever the narrative. Boomers are like that. Your parents are like that. They can throw something on Fox News. We believe it now. That's true. We saw it on our own. It's like ancient people writing on ancient scrolls back in the day. It's like super believable. If you see something scrolled into an ancient tablet, you go, oh, the tablet says this. That's what boomers think about TV, Fox News or something. My mom would totally kill Tony. That's the thing. That's why it's so powerful. I think it's lying by omission. If there is, and this is Internet sleuths can probably figure this out. Is there a PR advertisement firm? He believes they're like call centers that people are commenting, which would make sense actually, because on that video I did 2 videos ago, I'm sorry for harping on this, but some of the comments were like, delete this video now. He must have had a bad set. He really did bad, dude. He ended up getting booed off stage. And I'm looking at these comments and I go, oh man, I had a bad set, dude. Oh no, dude, I got booed off this. I had a really bad set. Kill Tony? No, dude. Meanwhile, I never was on the show, dude. They created this fake fantasy. I'm just like, what, did I really? I started believing the comments. There's 60 of them, right? It's a phenomenon that happens when there's that many comments. Meanwhile, they're all fake. And who would believe that Tony Hinchcliffe is having sex with a woman, let alone a homeless woman? People from India. That's it, dude. So, and it doesn't have to be all the comments are fake. On YouTube, not all the comments are fake. Most of them are, though. I would say over 50%. And that way, people are more gravitated to a video, and then people can sell stuff secondarily, and they won't be obvious. It's a sneak attack. They're kind of using you as cover. And that's what happened with pop music, modern day comedy, pretty much all like popular things. They're just there to sell stuff. That's why they're so replaceable, so removable. You're out. This person's in. She's got better tits and younger. And then you're like, oh no, and I'm out. Oh, they cried. I wanted fame. That's why it's all gay. You don't want to seek fame. You want to be seeking something that you believe in, that you're rock solid in. And if you could do it the rest of your life, you would be happy. And that's for me, comedy. It's really fun. It's really fun stuff. Especially when you get good at it. It's like, oh, this is the best. All right. So that's thank you for fixing my mic stuff. Is there any questions? Let me backtrack. Why is and I'm never going to talk about this stuff. I love comedy. I love comics. I'm all love. I'm just trying to educate the audience on what a comic even is in modern day, in this crazy world we live in. Till Tony, I'd have no issues with him in person, guarantee it. But this is why it's exploitative to open micers. Number one, we're nuts. Most open micers, when I started, I was kind of crazy. I wouldn't go on that show. I was like, I like worked a real job. I was a scientist. I wasn't a dummy by any stretch of the imagination. But a lot of these people early on, they're 20 years old, they're seeking ambitious fame, and they have this lottery ticket chance to go and kill Tony. They're going to take it. They're somewhat mentally ill. And now you're exploiting them. You're not paying them. And they're already seeking ambitious fame. And you're going to hijack that psychological feature of the open micer and exploit them on your show for attention, views, streams, and you're profiting off it and the open micer is not. I think that's exploitative. Number two, the other part that's strange about it is this ambitious fame quality. That you're going to be famous. Is that everything? That means nothing to me. It's not even important. Number one, you don't even get money from fame nowadays. Anyone can be famous. So the whole concept of the show is American Idol, but kind of gayer. And then every now and then Tony Hinchcliffe goes, unbelievable. And he may be gay, dude. I don't know. But he's having sex with homeless woman, right? So who would believe that but people in India? That's my point with that. All right. The last thing I'll say is even if with all this said, lying by omission, having PR advertisement, I knew the show is mostly people that got jabs and are easily susceptible to everyday coercion. They like the show mainly. And all I'm saying is this. I think it's messed up to lie to an audience about the show and have fake comments and stuff. I will have Tony's back legitimately and say if he did help one open micer, two open micers early on get a career, I think that the show would be worth it. You're hurting a lot of people in the process. And I know people actually that did well on the show and overnight got success and they became drug addicts. Literally, cocaine, they had to go to rehab. It was like a big deal. But you got what you wanted. Careful what you wish for. That's that's a good proverb. Because if you got what you wanted overnight, would you be happy? No. The answer is no. Like the question is this: like, okay, you're broke, you're poor, you can't pay your bills. Are you a good person? Well, no. If I had money, it would solve all my issues. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Maybe your issues would get worse, but you don't know how they would get worse. So you think that they won't. You don't have enough information. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. That's what's up. That's a good saying, dude. I trip myself out, dude. Am I on acid, dude? You don't know what you don't know until you know it. Oh, dude, this guy's smart. I'll be here all week, dude, on the live stream. If Clavicular can do it, dude, I can do it, dude. No brainer. Do you guys, let's see the comments. Who knows who Clavicular, what is his name? Clavicle? It is Clavicular, right? I don't know. Anyways, where are my maxers at, dude? As you can tell, what I'm working with today, dude, little methamphetamines. I'm working with, today I smashed my face, dude, with like when you butterfly a chicken and then you one of those hammers. I forget what they're called. It's a cleaver, meat cleaver, dude. I take a meat cleaver to my face. It's pretty wild, dude. Face maxing, dude. I'm a maxer, dude. I max out. I maxed out on methamphetamines today, which I've done a lot of meth in the past. Believe it or not, I've shot meth. I've done some wild stuff with meth. I didn't take meth today. Little applause break. Good job. It's cheap to, you can kind of say whatever you want, like on stage. If you're like in trouble, you can go, I stopped smoking weed. and the whole audience will clap. You can say anything like that's empower. I just read a marathon the other day. Just stop. You'll get claps. It's cheap stuff, man. You know what's funny? Like the bar's never been lower in comedy. So when you see an actually funny comedian, you go, "Whoa, this is so awesome," because you're used to this low frequency garbage constantly, dude. It's just garbage. And then when you see an actually funny comedian, you go, "Whoa, that's hilarious! Is this exist? I didn't even know comedy could be like this. It can be cool. It doesn't have to be a 1 minute weird thing. Yeah, it can be, dude." All right. So we talked about the evolutionary psychology study proving that no one actually likes pop music, and yet we're all hoodwinked into believing that it's acceptable to listen to it at the mall or wherever. Not cool. Not cool. But the money is the driver of all things, especially a replaceable pop artist or a replaceable comedian that's mainstream right now. 5 years from now, it's gonna be someone new. It's gonna be the new Matt Rife or sexy. Who's the chick? There's some Italian chick that does crowd work. Someone Tempo or BetterHelp, whatever it is, dude. All right, where are we gonna go from here? Oh, how about this? We'll go into some spirituality because I feel as if I need it. I do. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. I don't want to attack comedians. I think that's lame, not cool. So to get right sized, sometimes it's hard in this business, especially when you go to. When I was in Austin. Like, am I the funny? I literally thought this. Am I the funniest comic in this room right now? I thought that constantly. I'm like, what is going on with these bits? They're all the same. They're mimicking each other. Spirituality goes, you are what you're seeking. Actually, you don't have to mimic the next person. You can have heroes and look up to people, and of course, and you have something to aim for. But you are what you're seeking. That's spirituality. That's what Jesus taught. You are what you're seeking. You are actually the answer. It's not outside of yourself. It's not some external thing that if I get, I'm going to fill this internal void inside myself. That's not it whatsoever. Jesus didn't teach that. Jesus taught that you literally are the answer, which is kind of insane to think about because that's the last place I ever looked, dude. It really is. It was inside of me? No way. That's awesome, dude. It really is. When I did the ibogaine, in Mexico, which is a very powerful psychedelic, guys. Very, very powerful. One of the most I think it may be the most powerful psychedelic in the world. This is how they explain it to me if my mic went out or anything, let me know. This is how they explain the ibogaine and the DMT, because he did DMT after. DMT is nothing, dude. When people talk about it's the spirit molecule, it's the most powerful. No, it's not. DMT is nothing, dude. I hit that thing like 6 times when I was in Mexico. DMT is absolutely nothing. The ibogaine, this is how they described it in Mexico. Ibogaine is the granddaddy of all psychedelics. Just like, here's a cool concept that most people don't know. Fear, false evidence appearing real, is the granddaddy of all negative emotions. So you can go like self-pity, which is a case of mistaken identity. You're welcome. Thank you. You rock. So the idea that self-pity or resentment, whatever it is, fear is the granddaddy of all negative emotions. And love is the grandmother of all positive emotions. So going back to the ibogaine. Ibogaine is the granddaddy of all psychedelics. That's how they explained it. And when you take it, it definitely is masculine. It's a masculine drug. I never took a drug where I go, this is a man. It's kind of crazy to think about that. And the DMT, dimethyltryptophan. Actually, I smoke 5-MeO DMT, which is derived from the Sonora desert toad. and it actually naturally secretes this. They put it on these pixie things, and anyways, the ibogaine was intense, physically, mentally, spiritually. It was crazy. The DMT I wanted to do like 6 times. I literally asked to hit it like 4 times. That's how pleasant the experience was compared to the ibogaine. So people go, all right, but DMT is this all. It's so crazy. No, it's not. Not even close. There's levels to this, dude. There's levels to this thing. Ibogaine is that's like that's the granddaddy. When they told me that, it made sense afterwards. Everything they said there was kind of like understatements. Here's a good example of that. When I took it in the beginning, there's this vortex that's occurring right after these noises. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's getting louder and louder and louder, right? And this doctor comes in and he's like, another pill? And I go, I can't talk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even refuse it. And, check it out. The doctor then goes, you may feel, the doctor says, you may feel a little bit dizzy. Everything they said there was an understatement. I remember I'm like, I couldn't talk. I remember just mouthing to the doctor, that's an understatement. I went back. That's a new bit I'm working on. The Suboxone bit. I have a bit about Suboxone because that's a horse drug. It's literally a horse drug. It's literally a horse drug. I've been doing that bit across the country now, through Pennsylvania to Texas. A lot of people are affected by Suboxone. I didn't know this. People have come up to me and go, I was on that for years. I'm on it now. My brother's on this. My aunt's on this. A lot of people are affected by that drug, dude. And that was something that came out of the ibogaine trip. That's why I was talking about this. But it's a horse drug. It's literally veterinarian use only before 2000. And now 15 million Americans are prescribed this drug. I didn't know it was that many people. And I didn't know how many people are suffering. And then the pharmaceutical companies are making bank, dude. It's way worse than the Sackler family. They make the Sackler family look like saints, dude. The Suboxone crisis is truly perplexing because you have a long-term maintenance. I do this on stage a lot better. And it's hard to do on the live stream, but you have a long-term maintenance drug, right? Buprenorphine, which is a horse drug. It's not a people drug. It's not a people drug. It's for horses. Where's CNN when you need them? So there's a long-term maintenance drug similar to methadone, which is invented by who? The Nazis. That's right. You guessed correctly. Bayer, all these pharmaceutical companies. Guess where they came from? Hitler, dude. How come this is true? By the way, they go, why do you care about Kill Tony having fake PR firms and commenting on stuff? Why do you care, man? It's the #1 show because you're not getting attention. What if I said that about Hitler, dude? Hitler, you just care. Don't mind the 6 million people that died, Jews, and let alone 13 million Russians. You want the attention. You want to be on that center stage. No, dude. I'm saying he's there's a lot of propaganda. Can I not observe this? Is this not allowed? So buprenorphine, right? And by the way, that is 100% true. Methadone was invented by the Nazis. A lot of these pharmaceutical companies were from Berlin. In fact, the first you guys can look this up. I'm not kidding. I was doing research on all this stuff. The first trans movement, guess when it was? 1929. And there was a right-wing movement in Berlin, the capital of Germany. And they shut that clinic down. And it was a Jewish guy who actually started cutting off penises and stuff like that for transgender reassignment surgery. Whatever people think about, I don't care. I'm just giving you the stats of history. When was the first one that was documented like in modern day? It was in Nazi Germany in 29. I believe by 33 they wiped them all out. Talk about some Nazis, dude. So where am I going here? So Suboxone's buprenorphine, and it's a long-term maintenance drug, similar to methadone. Here's where it gets really dark and strange, very strange. They put Narcan or naloxone into the opiate long-term maintenance drug. If you don't know what Narcan is, it's an opiate overdose reversal drug. And every time I say this, doesn't matter in the South, Pennsylvania, Philly, Austin, people get this because it's illogical. Narcan, it reverses overdoses of opiates, and you're putting that in an opiate? Yeah, buprenorphine's an opiate, a partial opiate antagonist attaching very closely to the NU and MU opiate receptors in the human brain. Why would you do that? Because you're constantly making people go in this teeter-totter of like, I am on opiates and then the naloxone and in the pamphlets. Because I've done my research. It's hard to actually find good information on this in chemical stoichiometry and like stoichiometric equations to show how much is actually dissolved in the stomach acid and what's actually going on. It's very hard to actually research this stuff. But in the pamphlet, I was lucky enough to find the fact that buprenorphine has naloxone added to it for anti-abuse purposes. This is where the logic totally gets thrown out the window. You're telling me buprenorphine, which has a sealing effect. What's a sealing effect in the and basically this is what's going on in the human brain. Buprenorphine, or a horse drug, prior to 2000, right? It's a horse drug. It's for veterinarian use only prior to 2000. But buprenorphine, Suboxone, aka, has a sealing effect. So that means at 8 milligrams, 16, 24, 32, 40, you can go as high as 100 milligrams for an opiate dependent person, not for a naive opiate person. Naive means like they have never taken morphine, they've never taken Vicodin. That's what opiate naive means. But someone that's addicted to opiates, there's a sealing effect. This is, by the way, why they called it the holy grail of addiction, that there's this sealing effect in Suboxone. So the idea that they're putting naloxone, for anti-abuse purposes, into a drug that you can't abuse makes zero sense. It's so illogical. No matter where I do this bit, it lands. I'm telling you that it's more than the religious bits, more than whatever I'm doing. People come up to me and they go, "My friend was on some. I am on some." They have stories of people on this drug, dude, and I was on it for like 6 years, dude. It's a horrible drug. It's really bad. And the withdrawal, by the way, weeks and weeks and weeks. And you need your drug. I need my maintenance drug. I got to take it or I feel real sick. It's insane, dude. And 15 million Americans are on that nonsense drug, dude, for horses. This is really sad. If they don't get their meds, they get sick. They could possibly die. It's sad, man. I don't know how long. This is long. I'm at 30 minutes, dude. This is going a little bit over. This is my first live stream podcast, so I appreciate you guys. You guys rock. I'm really not a person that like the staging the video with the Kill Tony thing. That's not really me. That's like a Sam Hyde thing. Like, by the way, I think there's a place for all comedians, including Tony Hinchcliffe. I just don't like the fact that you're hiding something and you're faking comments. I'm DIY. I've always had a problem with authority my whole life. I'm upfront. I will tell people, hey, you know, if I had an extra $100,000 laying around, dude, thank you. Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you. You know, if I had an extra $100,000, I would tell people, you know, I hired a PR firm. They're gonna boost me up, dude. You thought you liked me now? Wait until I hire my PR firm, dude. I'm gonna be the next Charlie Chaplin, dude. All right. Peace out, Girl Scouts. You guys all rock.